The 2024 regular season is now officially in the books. The Astros finished their season with a record of 88-73, as their season will end, or their regular season that is, will end after just 161 games played. The series finale in Cleveland yesterday was rained out. It will not be made up, seeing that the game has little impact on the standings for either of these teams. But to be honest, I could care less about that, because all that's left now is for the Astros to focus their energy and rest up for the playoffs. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to recap the season as a whole, address some of my favorite moments, plus preview what is going to be in store for the Astros in the Wild Card Series against the Detroit Tigers. It's all coming up next. Stay tuned. What a crazy regular season it's been for the Astros. It has been full of ups and downs, as first-year manager Joe Espada led the Astros to another division title, despite them falling as much as 12 games under 500 and 10 games out of first place in the first half of the season. The Astros defied the odds and became the very first team since the 1912 Boston Braves, the first team in the expansion era to get off to such atrocious of a start during the regular season and go on to make the playoffs. Albeit they are the third seed in the American League, I don't think that's going to stop them, and I still have faith in this team to make another deep playoff run. This Detroit Tigers team, although they are a very talented ball club, they had a very low chance to make the playoffs heading into this month. But to be honest, I mean, unless the Tigers can rise to the occasion against us, I don't see us messing this up, really, to be honest. But again, that's just my opinion on it. But let's break down this recent series against Cleveland, a rather shortened series at that, right now. But let's dive into a couple of injury updates, starting with Yordan Alvarez. His availability on the Wild Card Series is still to be determined. However, he did take some batting practice yesterday and will start taking some today, as part of our pre-series workout. And hopefully he can continue to up his game a little bit. The word is that he might not be available for this wildcard series, but again, it could depend on the workout. And again, he could likely be available for the division series should the Astros advance there, but again, we'll see. Next up, Chas McCormick. His availability for the wildcard series is also a bit more certain. We might actually see him make the roster despite his injuries, but again, we'll find out approximately maybe 24 hours from now. And speaking of the wildcard series, the game times have now officially been announced for all 12 games of the wildcard series, and what still really annoys me the most is that the Astros are once again going to be getting the earliest possible time slot in their first round, as has been the case in many years past. But let's be honest, I am super pissed about it, but to be honest, it's really no shocker, because, every single fan in the entire city of Houston is still pissed off about the early start times, because it causes conflicts with people's work schedules, mine included. But to be honest, it's really not much of a shocker. We've seen us have early start times in years past, even during the division series. So, again, it's not super shocking, but to be honest, it's still really, really annoying. Like, of all possible time slots they could have given us, they gave us the earliest possible time slot. What a freaking joke. But real quick, let's break down this series against the Guardians. Starting in this first game, the Astros got engaged early, getting a couple of base hits to start the game. Jose Altuve had led off the inning with a double, and it was at first ruled out at second, trying to stretch that single into a double. But after a quick review, the call was overturned, so he was on second to start the game. Later on in the inning, Alex Bregman would get a sac fly to bring him home from third base. 1-0 Astros early, and that was the lead that the Astros would not relinquish, as Zach DeZenzo, just 2 days after he had hit a pair of base hits to help AAA Sugarland clinch the Pacific Coast League Championship, and also participated in the champagne celebration that followed that, would hit a 446-foot blast as part of a back-to-back pair of home runs, which Caratini had started. And even better, more so, AAA Sugarland had actually gone on to win the AAA minor league championship in Las Vegas over the Omaha Storm Chasers. So that was really cool to see, and honestly not bad for a team whose farm system is in shambles. But like I said, Zach DeZenzo had certainly made a bid for the Astros playoff roster with this home run. And, I would certainly like to see him on this first roster. Might see him on the next one again should the Astros make the division series, but we'll see. Now, in the bottom of the ninth inning, Josh Hader did come on to try in a non-safe situation. And I figured that since he hadn't pitched since last Tuesday when the Astros had clinched the division, I wouldn't think it would have been a huge deal just for the sake of keeping him loose. But he has recently struggled in non-safe situations, and this was one of them right here. as he ended up giving up 2 runs on a couple of hits to the Guardians, but the Astros would go on to win nonetheless. Now going here into Game 2, this was Justin Verlander's final start of the regular season, likely for sure in an Astros uniform. Where he goes from here remains about as uncertain as likely what was the Ohio weather in this game. I mean, he's not even sure if he's going to be on the Astros playoff roster this year, a thought that certainly seemed unfathomable at the start of the season, despite the fact that he started the season on the injured list, and he was on there twice for at least a month long each. And I mean, and you'd think even despite that, he would still be making the playoff roster despite those injuries. But honestly, I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure what uniform he's going to put on, if any at all, seeing that he's 42 years old. But there's still an outside possibility that this win could have been the final time he's pitched in an Astros uniform, which would bring his remarkable run in Houston to a close. Rather bittersweet, if you might ask. And honestly, it was a good start for him. He pitched a quality start. He went 6 innings, 3 runs on 7 hits, 5 strikeouts, which is not that bad if you ask me. But I still don't think he might make the playoff roster. Again, we're going to see what happens. I don't expect Justin Verlander to get too sentimental or like that or look that far ahead. Instead, just obviously focusing on his positive outing, which, I mean, I would respect him for that. But, I mean, obviously, I mean, he did give up a go-ahead 2-run home run in the first inning to Jose Ramirez. I mean, obviously, Jose Ramirez has had a remarkable season, so, I mean, that was kind of expected to happen. He then would add a sac fly in the 3rd inning to make it a 1-run game. But at the end of the day, the Cleveland Guardians could not chip at the Astros, the deficit that they were facing, and the Astros would go on to win this game. And like I said, that would be the final regular season game the Astros would be playing this season, as Sunday's game, unfortunately, was rained out. It will not be made up, seeing that it has little impact on the standings between these two teams, which I'm 100% okay with. The team might as well just treat this as an extra off day, I guess you can say, seeing that we would have only had one scheduled off day between the end of the season and the start of the wildcard series, which starts tomorrow. Now, with the series being recapped and out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and discuss some of my favorite moments from the season. Now, there's a couple of games across this regular season that have been crazy wins and some wild finishes and all that, and I think I've narrowed it down to a couple games here. We're gonna go ahead and throw back to late July against the Dodgers at home, where the Astros were down at least like maybe 5 runs early or something like that. They were trailed by as much as 5-0, but one inning, one AB at a time, they continued to chip away at that deficit, as the Astros would go into the 8th inning just down by just 1. And John Singleton would hit an RBI single to tie the game up. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, Alex Bregman would walk it off with a towering home run onto the train tracks, only the 2nd walk-off home run in his historic career. Another candidate that I'll bring to the table is going to be in Philadelphia, where the Astros won at 10-0 behind I think 7 no-hit innings or so from Spencer Arrighetti. He had carried a no-hitter into the 8th inning and then eventually ended up going, I think, 8 2/3 innings or something like that, but not before he had snapped the no-hitter. But it didn't come without a good defensive play from Mauricio Dubon to keep the no-hitter intact, that is for the time being. But eventually the Astros would go on to win this game by the final of 10-0. It, like I said, it was a rather crazy game, especially given the fact that the Astros had lost like 6 of its past 8 games, including the first 2 in this series. So that was a very good win to get. But last but not least, the final candidate that I'm going to go ahead and bring to the table was earlier this month in San Diego, where the Astros, I mean, they certainly had no business whatsoever winning this game, because, I mean, it started with Jose Altuve supposedly fouling a ball off of his foot, but it was instead ruled a ground ball out instead. He even pleaded his case to the home plate umpire by taking off his cleat as well as his sock and actually pointing at his foot. I mean, who knows, that might actually start a merch line of that funny moment in this game. But the Astros would eventually get the last laugh in this game, as they ended up going on to win this game in Manfred innings, thanks to a stellar play by Greg Kessinger, who had not played any bit of Major League action whatsoever since early July. Crazy finish. And I mean, that would come at a close second from that Dodgers game. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what was your favorite moment from the 2024 Astros regular season campaign? But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and discuss playoff reaction videos. I know you guys are going to be excited to see them. Now, unfortunately, for the wildcard series, there will be none for any of the 3 scheduled games. I mean, the only exception to that might be Thursday. Again, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, even if the start time does get moved, I don't know if I'll be able to bring one for you guys. I might choose to just go out and watch it with friends instead. But should the Astros make the division series, I will try my hardest to put a reaction video out for you guys. But again, it's going to depend on what time slot we get for the division series. or again, should we make it there. But overall, I'm going to try my hardest to bring you guys as many reaction videos as I possibly can. But for Fridays and Saturdays, any games that take place on that day, I will have reaction videos. So be sure you guys stay tuned for that. And then as far as videos you guys can expect to see between now and the start of the playoffs, which start tomorrow as of when you guys are seeing this video, I mean, I will also be making a playoff prediction video as far as who I think is going to be going all the way this year. I could be biased and pick the Astros, or I could be more realistic and pick someone like the Dodgers or Phillies. We'll see what happens. But the AL playoff field is all set. Like I said, the National League wildcard race just needs today to figure that out, with the Braves and Mets playing a doubleheader today to also decide on whether the Diamondbacks will make it. But the only team that's clinched a wildcard spot to this point in the National League are the Padres. Like I said, I'm going to wait for today to play out, and then I'm going to make a reaction video for you guys that will hopefully go live on Tuesday before the Astros game starts at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. But let's preview the wildcard series real quick. I'm a little bit nervous. I mean, the Astros are going to be having to face a tough opponent in Tyreek Skubal, who just won the AL Pitcher Triple Crown this year, which is just insane. I mean, he's going to be a tough, formidable foe. And also, of course, his opposition will be Farmer Valdez. Joe Espada announced that last week, so we already know. But like I said, man, I'm a little bit nervous. I mean, if we can't really get anything going against Tyreek Skubal, this series is going to be tough. And like I said, it's only a best of 3. The Astros will have home field advantage for all 3 of these games, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still a best of 3 series. I mean, usually, if you go down in the first game, statistically speaking, you're more than likely done. But, like I said, dude, this first game's probably going to be deciding the entire series. I mean, the Astros, again, they faced Tyreek Skubal before in the regular season, and they've been able to get some runs off of him. But the last time he played the Tigers was all the way back in mid-June. So, and I mean, even if that wasn't the case, those were all regular season games. Postseason baseball is a totally different ball game. Now, the one advantage that I see the Astros having in this series, again, is postseason experience, because this is a team that has played a lot of playoff baseball over the past few years. I mean, they obviously don't seem to be showing signs of letting up. But, I mean, again, this is a team that's also chasing its 8th straight ALCS appearance, which would be the most in the division era since the Braves had 8 straight over the course of the 90s. Like I said, it's going to be a crazy series to watch. So, I mean, now, like I said, I'll preview each series more in my playoff prediction video. With that, I'll be posting approximately 24 hours from now, so hopefully you guys will stay tuned for that. But between now and the next time, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. And if you want to watch any of my other videos, click these cards here above my shoulders. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.